All right, I think I'm live. I'm not sure. Hey guys, how you doing? I just wanted to. I get a lot of questions from people asking me about my podcast, and so what I wanted to do, and I don't know if this sounds really good. This is the first time I've ever done this, but I just kind of wanted to pull back the curtains and on LinkedIn because how this is working. So destination cannot be how this is working. So destination cannot be started. Click here for details. So I'm learning how to stream, and a lot of times people ask me about my podcast, and so what I wanted to do is pull back the curtains on my podcast and show you how I edit my podcast. So people ask me, hey, so do you just read the script, or do you come off the top of your head? I don't come off the top of my head. I'm too long-winded for that. So what I do is I write a script. The first thing I do is I'll write a script. Let me kind of show you. Let me show you this. Okay. So I'll write a script. Let me find it really quick. And let me pull this over here. So I'll write a script. Typically what I'll do is I'll write a script, and then what I'll do is I will put it in ChatGPT, and I created a prompt that follows my methodology, and it knows what I want to do. And so that prompt will let me turn one of these mics off. I don't know if this one's on. So what happens is the script will follow my prompt, and then I'll just clean it up. Then I'll record it. This is it. If you're looking at my screen right now, this Vox Chain 1, I'll record it, and then I'll go back and edit it. So this is the whole recording, okay? And then what I'll have is I'll have like takes as I record. You'll see what I'm doing. I just wanted to share it with you. And the reason I wanted to share it with you is because this particular podcast, number 82, is on closing the decision gap. So I was thinking, should I do this or should I not do this, right? And the decision gap is about having an idea and then executing. And so I'm not saying this is the greatest idea. I don't even know if this is going to be a good podcast. But what I wanted to demonstrate, not only to myself, but to the people that I work with, is that you can have an idea and execute it. Now, for me, it's the execution is important because that shows me that I'm moving forward on what I'm committed to. And that's what we're going to do today is we're going to move forward on that. And I am going to just continue editing. So I'm about halfway editing my podcast. So let's just keep going with it. Okay. So I'm right at the point, I believe I'm at the point where is a case study. So let me see. Okay. So let me go back so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the case study. So the case study will start here. So these pink areas right here, start right here. So these pink areas that I have here in my podcast are how I divide my podcast into thoughts. So there's one thought, there's a second thought. This is the outro to my podcast. So let me put it back here. This is the intro to my podcast right here. So kind of let me show you how it works. So let me mute this, and so you can hear it. Hopefully you can hear it. So that's how the podcast is. And I edited here. You can see there's a little chop here. If you look here, there's a chop, there's a break. Where's that? Okay, let me go here. There's a break. There's a break between this one and this one. And then what I do is I take this music right here, and I have everything color coded. I work in colors. So I like to work in colors because I can just remember the colors. Like one of the things that I teach people to do is in your phone book, use emojis for different kinds of business, different kind of people. So for instance, men in my phone book, because I focus mostly on men. I do coach women as well, but the majority of the people that I coach are men. And so what I do is I have, and it was my symbol for the year was a flame because I was working on building my fire a couple of years ago and just building fire, like sustained energy. And I call that fire. So since I work with men, I use the fire emoji, right? So if I want to, if I'm looking for, like I'm in my coaching, let's say I'm in my coaching directory, I hit the the flame emoji, the fire emoji, and then the men show up. If I put the water emoji, the women show up. If I go into my current coaching clients, if I put the water, then the women I'm coaching show up. If I put the fire, then the men. So I do that. In my networking group, I have 2 or 3 different networking groups. In my Provisors networking group, I have the top hat, right? So it's just a symbol I use. So I have the top hat for that. Then I have flame, the fire for the men, and I have the water for the women. It's really cool. It's just a really great way to manage your thoughts. It's a real great way to manage your processes without having to think as much. Like, where did I put those people? Oh, top hat, that's my Provisors, and it's one of the men in the Provisor. Top hat, fire. I can scroll through my phone on my iPhone. Boom, I found it. Good to go. And that's kind of how that works. So hope that helps you. Okay, so now you'll see this is green because that's the intro. The green here that's a switch. These are switches. So this has to do with switching the format. This has to do with new format. And then these are 3 bullet points. So in the thought process, when you have a thought that you're trying to execute, it's good to back that thought up with 3, I call it 3 curiosities, 3 ideas to help solidify, help anchor in that thought. So when I do my podcast, I usually do a thought, which is this pink one. And then I have 3 different, you'll see here, where's a new thought. This is the intro. So there's only 1 or 2 thoughts here. So here's the first thought that I get. And then there is 3 thoughts here to support it. So this is 1 thought, 1 break. And then this one right here, the green one, is a new thought, 3 thoughts to support it. And then this right here, this guy right here, it sounds like this. And what that does is that then the idea of that is it changes the thought process. So you'll just see it as I'm working through it. Okay. So I'm almost done with the podcast. I'm about how many minutes into it? I'm 2 minutes and 14 seconds. So I'm actually not even close to being done. So I just want to do this with you, and I'll kind of chit chat as I'm going along. So hang out, and hopefully you learn. If you have any questions, I will let me get my phone over here. So I have my phone, disconnect that. And then I can have, all right. Then what I'll do is I will put the stream, my live stream here. So in case you guys have any questions, because I don't think the questions show up here. There you go, boom, and there you go, boom, and there you go. There's my, I don't even know how to put the live stream. So if you have questions, I'll go back and answer them later. So these are the waves, right? So I'm going to be putting something on this, and I use Logic Pro, just so you know. I used to be a record producer. I've been using Logic Pro since probably the late 80s, the early 90s. So it's just something I'm just real good at. I just know how to use this program really well. And I write music in this program as well. So it's just keep it in the same format. So what you're hearing right now is my mistakes. Look, so what I'll do is that when I record my podcast, I'm reading a script. Let me show you the script. Let me see if I can do that. Move this over here. And so the script, let me see this camera scene. Okay, so how do I do scenes? I'm still trying to figure out this program here. So secondary scene is, here we go here. So on this display. So now this is my script. So I write a script, and when I make a mistake, so let's say I go, he had a bold new direction for, and then I mess up. Then I just immediately go back. He had a bold new direction for his team. It was going to be a tough conversation, but it had to happen. So you see this line through. I recorded this part. You'll hear it right now. And I went through it. And I was listening. And I was like, this really didn't help the podcast. So let me just get rid of it. And then I'm going to go from here to here. So he had a bold new direction for his team. It was going to be a tough conversation, but it had to happen. And still he stalled. See, I didn't need to add this in. So to make the point, that's all I needed. So that's the process I use. So let me go back to this and let me show Logic in the back. Okay, so here's Logic. Here's the program. So let me move this out of the way and let me go back to it. So I'm just chopping that right there. Control T chops it. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to. So I'm going to add it right there. I don't need that other part, like I said. So there you go. So this is let me see, you can't see it. So this is the vocal from before. I literally just take this one and just cover it up. And now, voila. Oh, that's not it. It's so actually it's right there. So boom, right? So let me see what I have here. And he still stall. Okay, let me listen to what I said. And I put these swooshes to make the point. So one of the things that I noticed that a lot of podcasters, and it's like my ADD, right? So I need to be I always need to be brought back to the point. So I use these swooshes because I find a lot of the people that I coach need to be reminded of the point. Not that, I coach like brilliant people, but I found that when I do this, then they go, okay, they remember. It just creates a trigger in the brain. So remember, this is important. And look I'm doing a ton of these things. I have a bunch of these things going on. It doesn't mean that something's not important. It's we're saying is that, hey, pay attention here, pay attention here. That's all we're saying. Okay. So, and I keep putting them in the wrong place. So that's okay. It'll be all right. So I keep going back, just seeing, okay, tweaking the details. That's a point. Delaying the moment. Okay. So I use this little swoosh right here to kind of change the thought that people are having. So why? It's kind of like a slap. It's like I use the smaller swooshes to say these are making the point, this is making the point, this is making the point. This swoosh, you'll hear it right now. What it does, you'll hear it, and what it does is basically saying, I'm going to give you a counterpoint, or I'm going to take this point to the next level. So let me show you what I mean. Delaying the moment is the point there. And then I'm going to start a new set of thoughts. But I want to know, delaying the moment. Okay, cool. So we all avoid discomfort, right? We all avoid discomfort. That's kind of what it is to be human, is that we want to be comfortable. So these are points. So these are points that are really important, I think. Which we all do, right? Okay. Sometimes I do. Okay, that's for the conversation. So, okay. So there again, you saw where I had to repeat it because I didn't like the way I said it before. So I'm going here. This is the same. You can see the way that wave looks. It's the same basic wave. It has a lot of the same personality. There's the wave. There's the wave. So I want to make a point there. So I gave him a challenge. Okay, I want to whoosh. I want to swoosh right there. I'm going to sneeze in a second. Excuse me. Wow, should have turned the mic off. So I'm going to add the bigger swoosh because I like it. Like, here's the mindset. So that's a bigger point. So since I'm making a bigger point, I'm going to use this green one because it is more of a shakeup. I want to start just as soon as I finish. This is a great video. Like, so if you're podcasting and you have a VA doing your editing, this will be a great video to teach them. Actually, my VA Anne is watching this because she doesn't edit my videos yet. Right now, I'm editing it because I'm a geek. I like to do this stuff. And so I make the time to edit. She wants to learn how to do it, so she's going to be watching this video as well. That's the point. So since that's a point, I'm going to do this. So there's the whole thought. So when I'm done with a thought, I take this pink one and start a new set of thoughts. So you'll see how it ends. Now watch. I say a lot of so. I used to, well, I didn't used to. Somebody told me not to do that. It's kind of the way I talk. One of the things I've learned, and one of the things that people tell me when I do my workshops, is they like that I'm just kind of a regular guy when I talk. I'm not like trying to show off or be anything special. So this is kind of what it sounds like. This is from the this is how I change the scenes and change the thoughts. I'm going from one thought to a brand new thought. Oops, no, that's not right. Okay, it's right here. That doesn't go. Oh, maybe that does go there. That's it. So we made a move. These are real stories. So I when I do my podcast and I give case studies, I give real stories of real stuff that's happened. No, I'm going to change that one. I don't like that. That's better. So this is the thing about life, guys. I don't know if this stream is any good. Might suck. Good chance it does. First time I did it. But the thing is, this whole podcast is about the decision gap. It's about being in action. Now, if I don't do the podcast, I don't know where to make changes. I'll give you an example, a story. My son Jordan was a pitcher, and he was a pitcher and he was a catcher and played baseball, right? And he was a good hitter. His on base, he got out not because he hardly ever struck out. He actually always hit the ball. The problem is he didn't hit the ball hard enough or far enough so he would get out. So he didn't have a high on base percentage, but he always could see the ball. But before that happened, what he would do is he would see the pitch, and as the pitch was coming, he would make a decision if he wants to swing at that pitch or not. And sometimes the pitch wasn't exactly where he was thinking where it was going to land, and he could have hit it. And so he would strike out looking. They call it striking out looking. Like I'm watching the pitch come to me, and I watch it, and I should have hit that one. So what I suggested to him to do is swing at as many of them as you can. Like swing, because if you strike out looking, you never had a chance. But if you swing, right, if you're swinging the bat, then you can, as you're swinging the bat, then you can make an adjustment with the bat and make a connection. So now you're learning a different skill. Okay, maybe the ball doesn't go where you want it to go, but because you're swinging the bat, you're making the decision. Let's say it's a ball, you know you're going to hit that ball bad. As you're swinging the bat, you're making the decision not to hit that ball, but you're swinging it. So you're swinging at it. At least you're in the game. But sometimes you're swinging the ball and you thought it was going to be a bad pitch. As you saw it, you go, no, this thing's breaking perfect. And you're teaching the brain to react quickly, and then you make contact. He became a good hitter and became a better hitter because he was making the adjustment in motion. So now I'm doing this podcast, and I'll be able to make the adjustments in motion because I'm doing something. I can go back and evaluate it. If I didn't do this, I would simply be in what I call the decision gap, which is the whole point of this podcast. The whole point of the podcast is that we think a lot, we have ideas, and we don't execute. And that's the killer. Would you agree? So I'm just making the adjustments here because I want everything to fall in place. It's very important that everything fits and it has a rhythm. So what happens in 14 minutes is this happens. So what I'm going to do is add these in here. So 14 minutes later, mission complete. Now, if you notice in my podcast, okay, so if you'll notice in my podcast and why I have these three different colors here is because the way that the brain executes, the brain, let me turn this record button off. Check. Okay, that's hopefully better. So the way that the brain executes, the brain looks for signs to validate thoughts. So if your brain has a thought of I don't like that person, say you have a coworker you don't like. If you don't like that person, your brain is going to come up with thoughts to validate that one thought, right? So in coaching, in training, what you want to do, or in explaining something, whether you're doing it with your kids, your spouse, or your team, right? You say your point and you validate it with three different curiosities. And curiosities means points, and I got curiosities from Stephen Kotler. He calls it stacking curiosities. So make your point and then stack the curiosities. Something that supports it, something that somebody is going to spark curiosity. So if you notice what I'm saying here, sometimes I have more of them too, but at least 3, because 3 is going to get the brain to remember. Now watch this thought. 14 minutes later, boom, boom, boom. Done. Drop the mic. If you listen to that whole thought process, it gives you the end. Now, why do I use the swooshes? The swooshes help divide that point so your brain picks up this one, picks up that one, and picks up that one. So that's just the way our brain works. That is the way our brain works. Sometimes when we talk in long sentences or long paragraphs, the brain is trying to remember what you said 30 seconds ago, and so it missed the last 25 seconds of what you even said. That's what happens. And so in communication mastery, which is a course I teach people to be able to see that coming out of their mouth, to be able to see that coming from somebody else. Why? So that you can communicate more effectively. If you communicate more effectively at work, what happens? You're probably going to enjoy your work better because you're communicating more effectively with people. That's going to translate to your house, where you're going to communicate better at home or in your social circles. You'll start to communicate better at work. You'll start to communicate better with your spouse. You'll start to communicate better with your children. You'll start to communicate better with your friends. That's what happens with communication. It has a ripple effect. Dropping a stone into the pond gives you a ripple effect. That's what happens. That's just how life works. That's how things work. Okay. So and that's how thought processes work, which is the thing we're talking about here. What did I missed? Okay. Momentum activated. Okay. Okay, there it goes. Okay. All right. Talking to myself. So I'm putting this is not this doesn't go there. One of these go there. Okay, I'm going to change this one and add this one in because I said let's break it down. So that's what we're saying. So let's say that. So I have a concept called 1424. 1424, okay? So the concept of 1424 is that 1% of your day, and I learned this from Brian Johnson and Brian Cain. Now, Brian Cain was one of the top mental performance coaches. He works with athletes all over the world. He's got like Cy Young Award winners, like MMA guys, UFC guys. He's got like over 1,100 people that he's worked with, athletes he's worked with that have now played in the NFL. I have 2 guys. He's a lot better than I am. But I got a guy going in the NFL this month. So this month he'll get drafted. So he'll be in the NFL draft. So I'm excited about that. But I got hundreds of CEOs, entrepreneurs, that kind of thing, other athletes and stuff. So I'm proud of what I do. I teach a concept called 1424 that I learned from Brian Johnson and Brian Kane. I learned from both of those guys, and I combined their concepts together in 14 minutes. So the idea is what if you could improve 1% every day? That's the idea. What if you can improve 1% every single day? Would you want to do that? Most people go, yeah, absolutely. I'd like to improve 1% every day. Okay. So are you willing to dedicate 1% of that day to your personal improvement? The answer is almost always, yeah, absolutely. I'd want to do that. Okay. But people often say yes to something, but don't know what they're saying yes to. They don't know. They're saying yes, but they don't know, what am I agreeing to? So let's break it down. 1% of the day, 1% of 24 hours is 14 minutes and 24 seconds. If you're going to say yes to 1%, you're saying yes to 14 minutes and 24 seconds. So what I'm talking about here is that as I gave the concept to my client and said, hey, let's do a 1424. Let's do a 1%. He called in his team. He hit his timer on his phone for 14 minutes and 24 seconds. He had his game plan in hand, and boom, he went for it. He wasn't overthinking because he was in flow. He didn't over-explain. He just experienced action. Then, less than 14 minutes and 24 seconds later, he said when he looked at his clock, it was like 13 minutes and like 25 seconds or something. So less than 14 minutes, the mission was complete. What he had been hesitating, what he had been overthinking, what he had been overanalyzing had gotten done. He was able to do it. His team was bought in, they were aligned, and they were motivated. So like, yeah, let's get to work, buddy. Let's get to work, boss. Boom. System complete. That's the power. And so the idea here is anything you measure, you improve. Would you agree? Like, so if I put a timer, I'm going to try to beat the timer. That's just true. But something happens in that moment that you hit the timer, you go into a state of flow. And that's what we're talking about next. Why 1424? So just listen as I'm doing the editing. So sometimes I just record the whole thing over and do it that way. Sometimes I piece it. So I don't really have like one way that's better than the other. I just want it to flow. That's my thing. Okay. So now I'm talking. So then I said I was going to explain to you why flow works and how it works. Okay. So we're going to go into that, but I'm going to let you hear that because this is what flow is, and this is how it works. So I talk a lot about flow. So what does 1424 do? What is the concept of putting a timer on do in 1424? This is the answer. So listen to this right here. Do, 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 do. So flow. So actually, this is the requirements of flow. So flow requires a clear goal. That's what it requires. Let me look at my script right here. A clear goal, immediate feedback. So it's got to be something you immediately get feedback. So as you're swinging the bat, right? The immediate feedback happens in the process because you're in flow, you're in the process. Now I need to make adjustments. That's better than watching the ball go by. Would you agree? In football, it's like, do I want to think about the gap or do I want to close the gap? That's the difference. And then if I'm going down the wrong gap, but at least if I'm moving, I can make an adjustment as I'm moving. But if I'm hesitating, then everybody else has the momentum. I've lost the momentum. I'm not in the game. And even if I miss the gap, then what you do is you come back and you just, because we miss tackles all the time, right? Football, they miss tackles. Then it's a matter of coming back in and recentering yourself and getting back to the next game. See, so sometimes I read wrong. Sometimes I read my scripts wrong, and I've got to go in and fix them. It's because I'm in the script. I can make the adjustment. That's exactly the point I was making earlier. So I make the adjustment as I'm speaking. So as I'm people always ask me like, man, I don't. They're telling me I don't do a podcast because I make a lot of mistakes. I'm like, I make a lot of mistakes, and then I clean it up in the editing, and then my podcast sounds better. Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather not do a podcast and then because you know you're going to make mistakes, or would you rather swing the bat and then make the adjustments, record the podcast and then make the adjustments? I think the second one. Cool. And that is 3 minutes and 57 seconds. I have some more I can throw in. I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision gap right now. Do I want to keep the podcast going? Let me listen to what I have. Let's see how much longer it is. I don't think this is something else. Okay. So how they got stuck in there. So I've got another, so I'm at 3 minutes and 57 seconds. I've got basically another minute and 5 or 6 seconds to go. Do I want to do it? Do I want to go to 5? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me listen to what I'm saying here. So let me grab all this and let me move this over here. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it right there. That's it, because it's about the. Yeah, I don't need to say anymore. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We didn't rewire. It's good stuff, but it's not. The thing, it's like when you make a good point, just have the good point be there, and then yeah, just be done. And I think that's something I've learned. Like, so make a decision. So I'm gonna delete this next part I have. I'm gonna bring in the close and have the podcast be done. That's how you close decision gap. Boom, like done, right? Drop the mic. That's good enough. So I got more stuff I can say, but the thing about me, like I was saying earlier, is I get long winded. I sometimes I don't shut up, and I just keep talking, and that doesn't necessarily make the podcast any better. And I have a close. The close goes, "Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait." Yeah, that's good stuff. I just don't know that it's going to make the podcast any better. Does that make any sense? So no, and so that's part of my decision gap is understanding what works and what doesn't work. So let me finish this, and then let me just finish this really quick. I'll put an end to this. Like I said, I use logic. So let me go. Okay. So let me decline that call. I got some spam call coming in, and then let's listen to the whole thing from the beginning to the end. I should put some things there, but I'm not going to. Yeah, let me go back there. So I'm going to add the little sort of three bullet points I just made there. Good. Yeah, I like that. So if you're making a podcast, what I like about what I do on my podcast, I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm just saying this is what I like. And if you're going to do anything, you got to like what you're doing, or you're just wasting your time. I've spent too much time in my life making myself wrong. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being conceited. I'm being focused. I know what I want, and when I execute it, I like it, and that's basically where I'm at. So, a lot of people have a hard time looking at what they do, like their art. Let's say somebody is an artist. Look at their art, and they kind of like, like that. I was like that. I played the sax, and I was like that playing the sax. I was literally playing the sax when I was a kid, when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s. I was playing in really cool bands. And literally, as I'm playing a solo, I'm opining about the freaking solo. That's ridiculous. Why didn't I just like practice, 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 and execute, and then just enjoy the execution? I think life is much better when you do that. Would you agree? It's cool. I love it. It's cool. And I know the ending. The ending works. Okay. So then the program I have is called Logic. So what I do is take this, hit this. Okay. So then first what I do is I do a master. So I want to master it. Okay. So I hit this button and it's going to run it through a process to master it. Takes about a minute or so. Sometimes it's faster. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to, what a mastering is you'll hear it right now. You're not going to hear it as good. You might not hear it as good. But basically what mastering does is it just takes all the different sounds, all the vocals and everything, and it fattens it all up and it brings it closer. So when you're listening to it, it just gives you more presence. You'll see right now. And then what I do is I take that and I open it up because I like it to when people listen to the podcast that it's just like it widens it up, like it's like a wide voice. You'll see what I mean. If you're listening with headphones, if you're listening if you're listening on a this usually is, I usually got to turn the loudness down on this thing too. Got to bring it about 2 or 3 decibels. Okay, so let's listen. Go from the beginning. Here it's kind of cracking, so I got to bring it down a little bit. Way too much. Like that, okay. Turn this down here. I don't like all that. Let me see. Yeah, I don't like this. This is terrible. See, I had to bring the loudness down here like 67 dBs. That's because it pumps it up. But sometimes when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's like, it's not good. Perfect. I like it. It sounds good. Let me go to the end. So then what I do is I go to the very end. Boom, 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 boom. Go to the very end. I bounce it. Let me see what it's called. So I got to grab the title of this podcast. Title of the podcast is episode 82, The Decision Gap. Why you're not taking action and the fix is simpler than you think. Why you're not taking action and the fix is simpler than you think. So I'm going to bounce it where I want to bounce it. Let me see over here. I'm just going to ask me where I want to put it. And I put it over here. Always put stuff on my, everything I do on, I use externals. Just use externals. Why do I do it? It's just what I do. So this is at 81, 80, and I keep them here. It just keeps everything clean. I don't have to worry about using my hard drive. I don't want to use my hard drive. I want to use external hard drives. I think external hard drives are more efficient. That's what I found. Is it true? Might be. Might not be. It's bouncing it. So then I'm going to tell you my next step as this is going, okay? So let me go here. Let me go here. And let me change the screen to a secondary display. Okay. So now this is the script. So I take this script. So now what I do with the script is I take this script here, the whole script, and let me see. I don't want to do it there. Okay. Take it here. Take the script here, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my ChatGPT, okay? And I have a thing called a podcast summary that I found. It's really good. And just ask it, please create a summary for my number 82 podcast. Number 82, not 382. Podcast. Make it bold and easy to digest. As well, keep the bullet points and add hashtags. What is it called? SEO friendly. And somebody told me that SEO thing, it's like SEO friendly is dead, but I don't know. We'll see. So there it is. There's my podcast, and it's going to give me a summary. So then I'm going to take the summary. I'll show you what I do inside of my. I got my kids calling me right now. My kids are both calling me. We're going to go to lunch. And then one of my coaching clients just canceled for today. So that gives me a time to run to the gym. Okay. So here it is. Here's the breakdown. Here's your podcast, decision gap, why you're not taking action, easy summary with bullet points. Hook. I've got this version. Okay. So then I have to take this and I'm going to edit it. But for right now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right now and do it quickly because I want to get it done for you guys. Make it shorter. Let me just make this much shorter. That's too long. It usually it's almost always like dead. It's like, and I like it gives me emojis and all that stuff. I don't like these lines it gives me, but you know. Let's go. So then I do everything in Kajabi. Why do I do it in Kajabi? It's just where I've been doing it. I've used Kajabi for a long time. I'm like grandfathered into a super inexpensive version of Kajabi because I've been with Kajabi for so long. So here you go. So 81. So I'm going to add a new episode. I'm going to add this in here, but it's not really going to turn out the way I want it to. So let me go here. This is my podcast. So all I do is I do the number. So it has the number and I don't do anything else. And then I'm going to upload the audio here. So the audio will be on my desk, what do you call it? My, whatever drive that's called, external hard drive. Going to upload it here. I hope this helps. Let me know if this helps. I don't coach people on this stuff. I coach people on human performance. Okay, so this is my, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this, add episode. It's 3 minutes and 57 seconds. And so here we go. My views are not anywhere near where I want them to do. But my audience is typically just the people that I coach. So I'm working on it. So this is where I'm starting. I really want to be one of the biggest podcasts around, and I'm at episode 82, and I got so much room to grow. So now I want to show you how I do my what are those things called? The pictures. So go into my Canva, and so I have the little picture of me pre-set up. Here you go. This is it. So episode 81. So now I'm going to do episode 82. Never writes the right thing though. I don't know why. Somehow I've got this weird, but anyway, I just change it anyways here. Okay, so the title is, so I just changed everything here. Episode 82, and then I have two different sections. Now this is a long title to a podcast. This is the decision gap. That's what it's called. So this is a longer title than I normally have. but I should be able to make it work. Okay, decision gap. Okay, so that's that part. And then I have these two lines that I'm putting under it. So we're going to do one line and one line. So I make noises like that all the time, like I'm shooting a gun or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on 2 lines. Just keep making it smaller. I love this program. It just does everything for you. All right, cool. And then I just bring it down. Oops. Why are not taking action? And the fix is simpler than you think. There you go. Boom. Number 82. Hit share. I downloaded. It's already all set up for the size and everything I want. So there says episode 82, but this is the weird thing. I don't know why. If you know why, please tell me why. As I go here and as I upload a new file in here, watch this. It's always this other one, breaking whatever this is. So I'm going to rename it episode 82. 82. Oops. I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does. So there you go. There you go. Boom, boom. Upload the file. Then I'm going to go back into the ChatGPT thing over here. Grab this again. Grab my description. Because over here, it doesn't do the description the way I want it. It just, I don't know why it does that. It just does that. So then I want to get rid of this stuff right here. I don't like these. I don't like breaks. I like bold. There's no reason why. It's just a preference I have. Final thought is, okay, so then I want to say, then what I do is I make a worksheet, but I'm not going to make the worksheet today. So let me save this. And let me go here, and then we go Kajabi over here. And then I'm going to add. So you'll look at the decision. I don't like it. I don't like all caps. So I'm going to change that. But down here, you'll notice that what I do is I have a download. So connect with Martine and a download, because I want people to connect with me. So I want people to reach out and ask for coaching. That's my thing, right? I'm a coach. And so download handout, coming soon. Because I don't have it. I'll figure it. I'll fix it after I do this. Actually, I may just do it with you and I'll show it to you. So connect with Martine, talk with Martine, boom, decision gap going. That's good. Let me actually get rid of this, and I'm gonna do it. I am going to do it. I want to show you everything that I do. So let me not skimp on this. Okay. So then I go here. So then I go, and I usually will go into the podcast or the summary. Please make me a handout using the script. I spell wrong. MECM. It knows what I'm talking about. So here we go. The problem is, but so doom, decision gap, boom. That's a lot. That's more than I want. That's one. Grab the top point, 2 points, and make the handout with homework. So now it's going to make it even better. Got the focus, 2 core points from your episode, plus a simple homework section. So, okay, so now back in, so I have this, so I can go back into Canva. Let's just put it in here. Canva. And then here is my HPM podcast, Human Performance Mastery podcast. So I go in here, simple. Since I'm making this all the time, this is 81. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the page. So then I'm going to go episode 82. I'm not going to do it right now. Episode 82. Let me go. If I make it bigger, I can see it. So let me see. Boom. Episode 82. Okay. Then let me take that out. And then let me see what it says here. Go to ChatGPT, Handout Podcast, Decision Gap. What's it called? I don't think that's correct. It is called the decision gap. Cool. There's a decision gap. Why you're not taking action. And I can put this on the other line. So I'm going to go here. Decision gap. Boom. Okay. Now I need to do the whole thing. And I just, I don't. And the thing is, for me, I don't try to remember everything. It's because I build systems, and that's the benefit of building systems. When you build a system, you're just working the system. You're not having to worry about like, did I do it exactly the way I did it before? Yeah, you will, because you just follow the system. It'll be much like you just did. So let me move this down. Okay, episode 82. So there's my handout. My handout has both addresses for my podcast. It has me. It has my phone number. It has my email address, and then there's a call to action at the bottom. Schedule one-on-one breakthrough coaching call today at talkwithmartine.com. I get calls from this handout. Okay, that's what I love about handouts, and I'll show you how it looks, because using handouts in your podcast, I think, is something I decided to do. I just literally invented it, and I think it's something that's going to catch on. So let me go here. Let me go here. So okay, so I got the stuff, and so let me build out the why not take action. Okay, so key insight number 1, decision gap. It's fear. Cool. I like that. Key insight number 2. Close the gap. I talk about that all the time. And then there's homework. Okay. So it's going to be a 2-pager. So let me grab this first section. I don't know why it does that, but it always does everything in caps, in bold at first. This is 15, and I do this at 14. So I do 15 and 14. This should be 14. It's just what I decided to do. This is 14. Okay, it's the difference. The decision gap is the silent space between knowing and doing. It shows up as overthinking. Is it fear disguised as strategy? It's fear disguised as strategy. It drains your energy and momentum. Reality check. Okay, so then there's a reality check. So I'm gonna. Oops, shit! What did I do with that? That was crazy. Ooh, I'm not supposed to cuss on. Martine cusses. It's terrible. YouTube. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to get started. Confidence fades. Execution suffers. I love it. Okay, cool. So let me give a little bit more room on this here, and let's go a little bit. Mindset. Cool. All right. I'm using up a lot of this page. I'm using up a lot of. I usually don't like using up this much real estate, but it is what it is. As they say, I hate that term. It is what it is, but I'm using it. But I'm using it. So, okay. Let me go here. That's the first section. And then this is the key insight, which is the 1424. Give yourself a limit. Timer starts. Okay, cool. This is good. This is good. This is like my goal in my podcast, like I said earlier, is to give people value, is to give the people that watch the podcast something that they can use. I'm not interested in entertaining as much as I am creating value. And creating something that my clients could use. Oh yeah, this is the wrong size anyway, so this is supposed to be 14. So that's going to make a big difference on that. Okay, cool. So this is it. All right. Just go. There's no, is there a 5? Did I delete? No 5. Awesome. I'm going to put this part in the middle. Cool. And then the homework's going to be on page 2. So let me go, boom, let me do a duplicate. So now page 2, see this is page 1. And this is page 2, which is exactly the same thing. So I'm going to put the homework, oops, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to delete this one and put the homework there. Hopefully it's only one section of homework. Okay, homework. Homework. Love it. I love it. I love it. I think the thing about ChatGPT is it thinks about stuff that I never think about. Like, for instance, I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. It just does such a better job than I do. It just does. I guess I'm going to do the ellipses too. Let me do those. Is that what they call those, ellipses? Maybe that'd be better. The little colons. Colons. Those are colons. I don't know how to use a semicolon, and I probably half the time, maybe more than half the time, I'm not even using the colon correctly. But let's see. After action, start, no distraction, overthinking. After action, reflection. Okay, cool. Then you got this part, which is an after action. What shifted when you added a time limit? Let's see if I can give it a little bit more. So these are all 14. So it's giving me a lot more room for the homework. Okay, let me see. Cool. See this whole share your progress. Use the hashtag decision gap and tag Martin tag at Martin Lopez to show your work and inspire others. Like I never think of that stuff. Like that's like that's why I love ChatGPT because it comes up with that stuff. Okay, oh, my watch is on super tight. My kids keep texting me because they want to go to lunch, and now my girlfriend's texting me, which I told her I'd go see. Oops. Lock my little desk in. Identify one task you've been delaying. Write it here. Cool. Set the timer for 14 minutes and 24 seconds. Use your phone watch or online timer. Yeah. Start. No distractions. No overthinking. Boom. After action reflection. I love that. Let me change this color. I'm going to change this so it just shows up a little differently. Like orange a lot. So let me try orange. After action reflection. What shifted when you added a limit? Share your progress. Boom. I like that. I'm going to do that there. Homework collapse. I like that. I like this a lot. Cool. Is this 14 though? I guess it is. Is it 14 on top? Yep. Okay. So now, okay. So this is what I do. So then I'm going to print this. I'm going to download this as a best for printing. So it's a good size. I'm going to do pages 1 and 2. Pages 1 and page 2, episode 32. I'm going to print this. Print. Okay, cool. Download. My ear. I'm going to go into Kajabi. Episode 82. So they can get the address up here. Get the address. The decision gap. It's episode number 82. And I'm going to write that in here. Getting calls right now. Okay, so episode. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. Wait a second. I thought I grabbed this. Sometimes it doesn't happen the way you think it's happening. This is a long podcast, and if you're still here, God bless you. I would have left a long time ago. All right, so then what I'm going to do. So this is what I do. So then I go to my HPM handouts, and I upload this podcast, which I downloaded a second ago. That's not it. Why is it there? Use a name, fewer characters with no punctuation. Try using a name. Might be too long. I don't think you can have a super long. I don't think that matters. Why you're not taking actions. Episode 82. That should be fine. The decision gap. Okay, I'm just going to use that. Decision gap. Let's just do that one. Cool, that's it. Okay. So I'm going to take now this podcast, and I'm going to drop it into here. So these are the podcasts that I have handouts on, right? If I knew how to, I wonder if there's like something that says how many times have people downloaded these. That would be really good to know. Right. Sometimes it goes to the bottom. See, I don't know why it does that. Rename. I think that's what it is. It's like the little, if the episode number 82 should be there. API SODE number 82, the decision gap. Anyways, it should be at the top, but anyways, I'm just going to copy the link. Okay, so then I go over to Kajabi. I take this thing, this whole thing, download handout. I put it in here. Got the link. Got this. New window. Okay. And so now my download is ready to go. So I have a podcast. I have the podcast. I have a download, and so I have multiple ways for people to connect with me, and that's the goal. That's really the goal of the podcast. So then it's unscheduled. So I launched my podcast usually at 3 a.m. in the morning on Monday. I'm right now, it's called the Daily Podcast. I'm really only doing one podcast right now, so it shouldn't call it the Daily Podcast. I was doing 3 a week, and I'm going to get back to doing more a week. Right now I'm just doing 1 or 2 a week. So that's it. Boom. It's done. It's uploaded. It'll be on Apple and Spotify and wherever else it goes in just a few minutes. Cool. I'm done. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Thanks a lot for checking out my thing I'm doing. I love it. And hopefully I'm going to do more of these, just do more lives. And I meant to do this on LinkedIn. But for some reason it didn't catch on LinkedIn, so I'll figure that out later. We'll get that done later. Peace. If you have any questions, anything I can do to help you, I coach CEOs, entrepreneurs, and athletes in their performance. It's called human performance, so that they can perform at higher levels. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Check out my podcast.